This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Thank you for EA for giving me a code for College Football 25. So I am going to be potentially doing a series on this down the road. I have had a lot of time to think about it. I'm not too exactly sure still if I want to do a series in this game or not. I've had some time to play around with the game and kind of get my feel for it. I do really like the game and how it operates, so I might honestly want to do a series depending on what you guys think of this video. So let me know if you guys want to see an actual series with North Texas down below, because that's the team likely I would be doing. I am going to just do a little bit of like stuff in my offline franchise, and that's what this video is going to be, is just kind of running through things so you guys can kind of see how it works in the game. I know you guys have probably watched a ton of the bigger channels out there already, so I don't expect you guys to not know what's going on, but I will still show you guys basically what this is. So I've had a lot of fun so far in these last few days trying this game out. Basically, we have this like recruiting stage here, which I've already done for this week, so we'll do it in the next week. But you can see some guys that I've had some interest in that I'm building up this influence on. So this Ife Kwenku guy, I honestly don't know. He's a 4-star recruit anyways. He's also listed as a gem, and you can see right now we are currently his top school of interest. And once we get that bar filled all the way to top 3, he will narrow his opportunities down to the top 3 schools, and then we will potentially have a chance to get this guy committed to our team for next season, which is exciting. So I have a lot of guys with some pretty high interest at the moment, because I try and basically use as much points as possible on a lot of these guys early on, and also scout them out 100% too, which I don't really know if that's the proper method of doing things, because this is my first time ever playing a college football game, but that's basically what I'm working on. Also, I'm trying to land this 5-star recruit, but I think this is going to be a really tough one because there's some other teams that are in the mix. I think at some point we could end up getting passed in the interest department, but honestly, we are going to try our best to get ourselves a 5-star recruit for sure too. What's really cool about this game, if you guys don't really know too much about college football games, is you also have actions that you basically do. So I could basically send a house, which helps get more interest in the team. And also we could do stuff like search his social media, we could DM him, contact his friends and family. Basically you have 50 hours for each player, and basically you would have to use it accordingly. So right now, since we have send the house on him, we are using 50 out of 50. But if I wanted to, I could remove that ability, and then basically instead I could do contact friends and family, DM the player, and search social media for less time used on him. You can also see that we have 600 hours that we use every week, it seems like, around. Right now we've used every single hour this week on scouting. And we've also sent out some scholarships as well, because we are trying to get these guys as much interest as possible in joining North Texas. So that's what it's like with this. It's really interesting, some of these names in too, because like Mafu Ayu, that's like one of the weirdest names I think I've seen in a games type of like Dynasty mode before. So I'm excited to see what ends up happening with this. I don't think I'm going to go through an entire season in this little video, but I want your guys' just opinions on things and see if you guys want me to actually do a full series on this team. Like I said, I could, but I'll probably end up restarting it from the get-go, because obviously I'm in year 2 at this point, because I already do have some players I've drafted or brought into this team for the first year, which I'll show you guys them right now. So if we go ahead over to, I think it was halfback. Was it halfback? I'm trying to remember exactly what positions I had those guys I drafted in. I think there was one definitely at center. Yeah, this Joey Babcock guy. I drafted him in my first year. He's up to a 76 overall. He started off as a 75. He's also got some good mentals, which I will remove my face so you guys could actually see those mentals. And he's also got some pretty solid physicals as well. So he looks pretty decent. His deal breaker was proximity to home. I'm trying to only bring in Texas-related players, like people that were actually born in a Texas area, so that way we actually have a lot of guys that are close to their home cities, so it makes it a little bit easier on that sense. But you can see like stuff like his ratings here. The parts that are dashed out are which is basically which he can only go to at the most. So his pass blocking has a lot of room to grow, which is nice. But something like his power could only go up by like another 3 bars. But looks like he has a lot of room in general to grow into being a decent player, which is exciting. And yeah, there's all this stuff. You have his health, low risk of injury, which is nice. And you can see him in the depth chart. I could set him as the captain. I could also edit him and rename him if I really wanted to too, which is kind of neat. But I'm not going to obviously do that. So yeah, there's one of the guys I drafted. I think I had a couple other people I drafted as well. Oh yeah, this Jamerson guy, Clayton Jamerson, another guy. He's only a 68, so it's going to be interesting to see if I decide to do a series on this, if I could actually draft some pretty good players and build up a good squad. Obviously, some of these players leave after 4 years because when they're juniors, they have like, I believe, 4 years before they eventually could end up leaving and getting drafted into the NFL, which means they won't be in the series at that point. So it's a little bit more different than a typical franchise mode in the sense that basically you're having players constantly leave your team and you're constantly drafting or recruiting more players to build up your rosters. So it's kind of interesting in that sense. So there is basically stuff like that, and you can see I've gotten the Mean Green up to an 82 overall. I believe they started as like a 79 or 78, so I have been building up this team a little bit better. However, you can see also with our roster here on paper right now, if I sort this by year here, you can see we have a good amount of freshmen, which is nice. But we also do have a ton of seniors on this roster, which means a lot of these guys are probably going to be off the team in the next few years. Even my quarterback, Ben Chamberlain, he's currently a senior, so there's a chance that he might not want to come back from this team next year, or he won't come back to this team next year for sure, which means I probably have to find a quarterback to replace him, because at the moment we only have 2 quarterbacks. The only other guy is Cash McCollum, who is currently sophomore, I think, so he could probably take over next year, but obviously it would be good to get more quarterbacks behind him as well. So there's a lot of room to develop this team in that sense. You also have your red shirts, which I believe are your scratch players, so to speak, and the players that come in if there's any injury problems. Okay, let's simulate to the next week so you guys can see like 1 week maybe of like recruiting stuff, and then that'll probably be it for this video. If you guys want to see more, like I said, and you want to see a full series on this, I might do it. However, I am going to be going on a trip in the next few weeks, which means there is a chance that I might actually have to pre-record episodes at a point, so just keep that in mind. So currently we're an 83 overall with 82 offense and 84 defense, so I think we got even better that week, which is nice. And you can see also after we simulate a week, Mafu Ayu has reached his top 3 schools, and we're currently number 1. However, looks like UTEP, which I don't really know what schools these are. Honestly, I don't know the logos for all these teams yet off the top of my head, but they look like they're competing quite strongly with us for Mafu Ayu. Mr. Wetzel has reached his top 3 schools, and unfortunately we just missed out on being a top 3 school, but the top 2 teams have way more interest in us, so I didn't even expect to really get this guy anyways, so that's okay. And we also have Fumangali, who has got us still at number 1, which is nice. We're in his top 5 schools. Stoner's reached his top 5 schools. We're currently number 1, but LSU is not too far behind us. And then for Felix LaRue, we have a lot of interest in him. Nobody else has really that close of interest at the moment. So we got to work on Mafu Ayu especially, I think, if we want to land this guy, just based on the fact that UTEP is really close to us. I think that's potentially called UTEP. I honestly have no idea. And if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. So let's head on over to some recruiting stuff so we could try and get some stuff set up here. So Mafu Ayu, yeah, there's a very close thing with UTEP, like the committing thing. They are very close to having him commit to there as well. So the third team doesn't even really matter at this stage. So if we go to Mafu Ayu and we go to recruiting, right now we sent all these things over. Let's, can I schedule a visit? Yes, I can. We could schedule a visit, which is pretty damn cool. So we're going to schedule a visit for him to come and visit our team when we're playing a game potentially against a team that we could easily beat. So that way he could come in and see us win and be like, oh yeah, I want to join this team for sure. However, it looks like he's going to come down to a decision relatively soon. So we probably want to schedule the visit for next week against the USA team. So we'll schedule a visit, and since that team's 0-3, we're 2-0, I think we should be able to easily beat them. And obviously we want a visit as soon as possible, so we're going to give him a visit on that. We know that he likes his playing time and also brand exposure, so we probably want to do a podcast interview based on the fact he likes brand exposure, because yeah, I think that's probably an important thing for him. So let's do a podcast interview when he comes to town, and hopefully that gives him a little bit more interest in joining the team, and hopefully that makes us have a lot more interest in UTEP, and maybe we're able to land him, because UTEP could come in and basically just barely beat us if possible. Now the thing is, we don't have that much weeks left, so we want to make sure we get that interest up there as fast as possible, and that UTEP doesn't somehow beat us in the last seconds. The other guys, I might honestly keep some of their stuff at the way it is at the moment. I don't think anybody actually... Did Lopez lock us out? No, he didn't. I don't think so, right? No, he didn't lock us out yet. But the deal breaker is in the red, and we're below it. So we might honestly not be able to land these 3 guys, because that deal breaker is crucial in order for them to actually sign with us. So we have to get our playing style up from a C to a B-, which is unfortunate we've fallen just below it, because if we don't land these guys, that'll kind of suck. Fumangali also has the same boat, and we already know that Wetzel locked us out because we're not in his top 3 schools, so we'll remove him because we're not going to get into his top 3 anymore. Everybody else is good for now. And we've got 40 hours to use still, so we probably want to use 40 hours on somebody else. Actually, we could still use hours on Mafua Yu, because that scheduled visit isn't this week. So I could actually still send a house on him as well in order to try and get him to join this team. Well, I don't have enough hours. I need to free up 10 hours somehow, so maybe there's somebody I could free up 10 hours on. Yeah, let's remove the DM the player on this guy, considering he might not sign with us because of that deal breaker. And let's go back over to here and add the send the house on Mafua Yu, because I think I really want him. Even though he's only a 3-star recruit, I think he's going to be okay. Has a really good spectacular catch, acceleration. Like, it looks like he's pretty solid, especially in the speed department. The jumping looks good. So, as a wide receiver, even though he's a 3-star recruit, I think he'd be pretty exciting to bring in. So, we're going to try and get him to commit in this episode to our team. And that way you guys can at least see maybe a commitment. So there is all that. I think the rest of that is fine, considering we're using all 600 of our hours. I don't think I'm going to be able to land some of these guys at this point. Like, this Gama's guy is a bust, actually listed as a bust, but I don't think he's going to be that bad as a 4-star recruit. But to try and get ourselves up into that top 3 or top 5 is going to be kind of tough. So I think I'm just going to remove him for now. And I think I'll keep the rest of this the same. But it kind of sucks that Lopez, Wade, and Odia Hambo we might not be able to get. Same with Fumangali. But if we can't get Fumangali, at least Mafua Yu looks decent. So there's that. There is also the prospect list. So this is the area where you'll find all the prospects you could potentially add to your list. So if we sort this by like interest, you can see a lot of these players have interest as us as the top school. You can see some have this as number 2nd as well. And you can also see if we need them too, which is good. So it's kind of easy to kind of understand who you should try and go after and all that. Now we're only looking at Texas only because of the fact I wanted to do a Texas only kind of challenge. I think that would be the idea for the actual series, is doing Texas only. But obviously you can see also at the rest of the recommended, you can see people, actually not recommended, let's go any state. You can see all the recruits from all over the United States. So you can see that there was some other 5-star recruits that are already kind of like locking in their teams. People that are from like Florida and all those other states, Georgia. So there's that. And then there's also the transfer portal, which is for the off season when you're having players transfer from other schools to you. And then there's our school stats right now. Don't really know the screen too much, to be honest. I could be completely talking out of my ass right now, but I don't know. So there is all that. And let's see what ends up happening against Washington State, because we do have our game today. And then we want to also get to... Actually, should I try and get to that... maybe we'll go to a Washington State game. Let's take a look at this. I don't usually play the actual game itself when I'm doing these type of things. Like if we're doing a series, we will probably go play the moments, and then we'll also watch the CPU play, just because I'm not really too familiar with playing this game. But we should have a pretty tough game against Washington State. They are lower ranked than us in terms of everything, so we should be able to beat them hypothetically, but no guarantees on that. So let's just go on this so you guys can see the in-game stuff. It's pretty similar to Madden anyways, so you guys probably already know it if you know football in general. But it's pretty interesting, the little cutscenes and stuff like that. I might not have audio in this portion depending if there's copyrighted music, which honestly there is probably copyrighted music playing at this point, because usually the fact that they play like Welcome to the Jungle in these games and stuff, which is pretty cool. But the graphics in this game look nice, and yeah, it's a really fun game so far at this point. Really having a lot of fun with it. So if you guys want me to do a series, let me know. But like I said, I will probably have to pre-record episodes in the next coming weeks, just because of the fact that I will be going to BC on a trip. So, and if you don't want me to do a series, hey, maybe we'll do a series eventually down the road. We could always wait till I come back from BC as well, because maybe that'll be a better time for it. So you have like this stuff. Since we aren't doing moments, we are gonna just skip through a couple moments here. We can watch the AI at some points, but we're already down 7-0, which is not great. Red zone alert. Let's see if we can get some points here. We get a touchdown of our own, so that's good. And we also have another chance for another touchdown, which we do convert. Nice. All right. Good start for the offense, but it's 14-10, so we are giving up a little bit too much as well here early on. Some of these games are pretty high scoring, because I've seen like 50 points before. There's another touchdown for us. We're up 21-10, which is a pretty good spot to be in the first half. And we'd scored again. Our team is so good right now. I like it. But obviously there's some other teams that are way better than us too. Jeez, our team is absolutely cruising in this first half. We already have 35 points. Final little bit of this first half. It's 35-10 at halftime. Or 35-17 maybe. Actually, maybe that was in the third quarter already. I honestly don't know. Let's keep it going. 35 still. We should be able to easily win this game at this point. 42 points. Damn, man. Yeah, we're killing it. Really good game for this team so far. Let's go a little bit longer. We'll probably intervene and actually watch some of this here shortly if I can get it set up properly. They're trying to go for on 4th down because they are down by so much, which makes sense. And let's go play the moment here for a second, and we're going to go Super Sim. And we're going to go jump ahead, change a possession. Let's go to the end of the game. And we're going to change this over to... I already went to the end of the game. I was going to change it over to slow speed, but whatever. There we go. We win this game 49-31. There's our quarterback, who's in his last season probably here with the mean green. Player of the game is some senior named Ragsdale. 72 rushing yards, 11 rushing attempts, I guess, and 3 touchdowns. Not bad. Pretty solid effort. Let me just get my face back on the screen. Perfect. So yeah, you can see that's basically what I would be doing in terms of games if we were to do a series. Let's take a look at some player stats. Let's see our quarterback's passing percentage. His completion rate was 63%. It's not too great. He did have an 8.7 average rating though, which is pretty nice. So pretty good, solid stats from Ben Chamberlain. We'll suck to lose this guy at the end of the season likely, because he'll probably have to turn pro. Alright, so there is that. I don't know if we'll get a commitment in this episode or not. It depends on what's going on with Mafu Ayu, because that's the guy we're trying to get to commit, at least right now. Let's go to next week already, because we've used all our hours. And let's see what we got in terms of notifications. Hey, Mafu Ayu has committed, so there we go. We do get a commitment in this episode, so there is Mafu Ayu. We will not know his actual overall until I actually get through an entire season, so I'm not going to do an entire season because it literally took me a couple hours to go through an entire season when I was doing this before. But welcome aboard to Mafu Ayu from Converse, Texas. So even before he has his visit with our team, that's what I'm trying to say, his visit with our team, he decides to commit to our school because we sent the house on him, which is awesome. And we literally just edged out UTEP, I think, which is insane. Or UTEP, I don't even know what that says. Whatever, they have like an axe as a logo. Ordia Hambo has still interested in us, apparently, but that one team that's way ahead is not going to be easy to catch. So it looks like our deal breaker went back up to being normal again, so he actually has still interest in him, or us. Brett Driesbach has us at number 2, but the other team is kind of running away with it, to be honest. Hepburn does not have us in his top 3, so unfortunately he has locked us out. And then we also have Nick Rosario, who has locked us in as a top 5 school, so we might be still able to land our 5-star recruit, which is very exciting. We have the most interest still on him. He's definitely a guy I need to still try and get, because that would be amazing to get a 5-star wide receiver. Like, I know we just got Mafu Ayu, but to get Nick Rosario would be even better. That'd be awesome. So there is all that, and we're down to an 83 again. We still look pretty good. We're looking pretty good. So there is that. I do want to see Mafu Ayu here. How close was it from not actually landing him? It doesn't even show on this point, but they actually scheduled UTEP. They scheduled a meeting in week 12, which we scheduled one in week 5. So yeah, it's kind of cool that he committed to us just before that even happened. But he is still have the visit scheduled against an 0-3 team with a podcast interview. So that'll be interesting just to have him there for a game. And all these other guys still have some good interest. This quarterback is still, I think, an important guy to offer probably a visit to, so that's probably my next step after I'm done recording this episode, is to do that. This guy is going to be kind of hard to get because of the fact there's a pretty big gap between us and the first place team. This guy even harder probably, but we could definitely still try our best to get back into the picture a little bit on some of these guys, but a lot of these guys are kind of running away from us. Fumingali still has that deal breaker, unfortunately. Stoner's still number 1, but also LSU is very close to us, so a couple of these guys I'll have to work on quite a bit. At least I'm still number 1 on a lot of guys' lists, but I am really happy at least that we got Mafua Yu, because I think even though he's a 3-star recruit, like I said, I think some of those attributes actually look pretty decent. He also has a fan favorite mental, road dog. Like, I feel like he could be a decent 3-star recruit, like maybe like a 68, 69 overall, something like that. And then maybe he could develop into being something decent for his team going forward. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video of College Football 25. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, if you guys want me to do an actual full series at some point, let me know when, because I honestly could do this series in this once my Winnipeg Jets series ends in NHL 24. I could easily make this into a series at that point. And then basically I'll have my NHL, my MLB, and a college football series going on at the same time. Like, that could be an idea. Then again, NHL 25 is not too long away, like a couple months away. So maybe we do it until NHL 25 comes out. I don't know exactly, but let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.